This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
What is up, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium? Welcome to Sunday Sessions. I'm your host, Swank. Right over here next to me, I got my mustachioed brethren, Mr. Scott Reed. Scott, what's up?
Hey guys, it's game day, Sunday game day. It's a big must-win week for Buffalo. We got a game in 5 more days, so we got to get shit right before these next 2 games. I'm excited to talk about it.
Hell yeah. And as always, downstairs right here, our buddy with the voice of butter, Mr. Ryan Thomas from the Thomas Takes Sports Podcast. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, Swank? What's going on, Scott? It's a great morning to be a Buffalo Bills fan. I got a positive vibe today. I'm trying to think positive, manifest, right? That's manifestation. You think positive, positive things will happen. So I'm feeling good today.
Hell yeah. Well, let's try to hold on to that good feeling, but the inactive list literally just came on.
That's why I love doing this show at this time.
As we came up. Yeah, it's perfect, right? And everybody, thanks for hanging out here. We'll get to saying some hellos to some 24/7 peeps in a minute here. But as far as your inactives go, there are a couple names on here that I don't know. I don't know. I was hoping a couple of these guys might be active. But here we go. Kyer Elam is inactive, and Tre'Davious White, both inactive. So we were kind of hoping that Trey might get the nod today, and maybe Kyer got straightened out, but you were looking at a very similar cornerback crew as last week. Tremaine Edmonds, who we knew was going to be out, but also free agent pickup Mr. A.J. Klein is inactive today, which I kind of thought maybe he would just pop in and step right into that role, maybe send him after the QB a little bit, disrupt a little bit of the backfield, but A.J. Klein is inactive. Gregory Rousseau, he is inactive like we knew. Justin Murray, offensive lineman, and Tommy Sweeney, tight end. So let's jump right into this. These cornerbacks and linebackers, Scott, what are you feeling about this lineback inactive list here?
I would have liked. I know it's possible for Klein. I didn't think he was going to be playing, just being signed a couple days ago. But I mean, we're going to see the same thing. I don't know how serious Tremaine Edmonds is now. It's a groin injury, which can be a lingering issue. So we all know that McDermott and Bean keeps things close to the vest, and we won't ever exactly know what's going on with these guys. But just a little, instead of say week to week, tell us it's days.
Yeah,
it's again, Terrell Bernard, Tyrell McKetovich, Dotson, Milano. That's our linebackers. I think it's going to be scary. I think, especially since we have to handle this run.
RT, what do you think here?
Yeah, Scott took the words right out of my mouth. The guy to fear on this Cleveland Browns offense, especially 1A, Nick Chubb, 1B, Kareem Hunt, and that front seven of the Buffalo Bills is going to be tested for the third straight week. I say third straight week because, last week, Dalvin Cook had that 181-yard run. Outside of that, I thought they actually did a really good job at bottling him up. Mm-hmm. But the type of running backs that they've gone up against have changed. It's gone from James Robinson, who's like a little muscle hamster, to Michael Carter, who's elusive. Nick Chubb is the complete and total package. I mean, this guy is one of the best running backs I've seen in this generation, and especially in a league that's known as a passing league. To know the consistent production that he's had really since day one, he's been great since he got to Cleveland. So the Bills are going to have to be on their P's and Q's in terms of their front seven today. Run defense has to step up, and it's another week, according to the inactive report, that we're going to have to see the secondary step up even more. And last week they had to go up against a juggernaut in Justin Jefferson. I'm not as worried about the wide receivers that the Browns have and Cooper and Peoples-Jones, but this secondary has to improve upon what they've been doing these last few weeks.
I mean, I do like the matchup. I think Benford can probably man his own against Cooper because Benford is a strong press type of corner that they got out of Villanova this year in the draft. But Xavier Rhodes, guys, Xavier Rhodes is on the roster today. He came in a couple months ago. He was injured. I think now we're going to finally see a flash of the ex-All-Pro corner. Yes, he's lost a bit. That's why he hasn't probably been on a team. But it'll be exciting to see how he fits in this Leslie Frazier offense, seeing how he's been in the Leslie Frazier defense, the defensive scheme in the past. So I think we're going to get our first look on him. So we have a very physical, aggressive cornerback situation now with these Xavier Rhodes and Benford. So I'm kind of pumped to see what's going on with that.
I'm going to tell you one guy that I'm looking forward to that kind of goes along with this whole CB issue, Cam Lewis. Cam Lewis came out on fire last week. He got banged up a little bit at the end of the game. I mean, he's not on a list, right? So hopefully he's going to be out there. Another man that's not on this list is Mr. Jordan Poyer, which is an interesting development. Hopefully he gets out there and gets some snaps and can maybe rein in some of this secondary, this young secondary. Yeah, Cooper, I don't know. I think there's one of two ways today can go. Coop can try and, like, show everybody that he isn't the flop that everybody kind of assumes he's been for, like, the last couple years. I mean, I really don't think he's been the same player that he was in, back then, Oakland, as he is now. I think when he was paired up with Derek Carr, he looked really good, and then ever since then it's been flashes. He got that huge contract down in Dallas. Obviously, they didn't think he was worth it, and they shipped him up to Cleveland, where careers go to die. So, I'm hoping, as much of a I don't think it's a huge challenge. I don't think it would be a challenge at all if we had Trey, Kyer, Micah, Poyer, Edmund, all that. I don't think it would be any sort of question. But so I think the thing that we have to kind of watch out for is Brissett going to try and launch out one of them deep balls to Cooper right off the bat to soften up that secondary? You know what I mean? If they complete like a 20-plus yard pass right in the beginning, first quarter, they're going to start to play off that run, which is the thing that they need to stop, right? Like right. We all said it. It's Chubb, it's Hunt. So if Brissett can connect on a long one to Cooper early, I think it's going to be a long day.
Well, the good thing is we got 6.5 feet of snow. The wind's whirling around like crazy. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, son of a. But I agree with you. I mean, you're talking about Cam Lewis there real quick, Swank, and he did a great job last week other than not knocking the ball down at the end of the game. And they are facing someone that's a lot different than Justin Jefferson, a freak in nature, top 5 wide receiver in the league in every aspect. He can toughen you up. He can fly by you with his speed. Cooper's a different breed. He's big. He tends to try to handle people as far as being aggressive. So I think these guys can definitely handle him.
Yeah, I think it's manageable. And I think that these guys have gotten a lot of game experience that a lot of people in their position have not had the opportunity to. So looking forward to the second half of the season where hopefully these guys are getting healthier and getting back in the lineup. They did get a quality plethora of games to like really sink their teeth into and hopefully get their feet wet so that it'll continue throughout their career. Being thrown into the deep end like that. So we are playing the Cleveland Browns today, 1:00 game in Detroit, Rock City, the Motor City. Dome game. Are we seeing this as a get-right game for Josh Allen, Ryan Thomas?
Well, you'd look at his career numbers, and you would say his career numbers are good as a whole, but his career numbers in a dome are much better, which creates a whole different discussion on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram that Bills fans are still pounding the table, breaking tables, pounding the tables as well over whether the Bills should have a dome or not. We know they're not going to have a dome, guys. Yeah. It is what it is. But Josh Allen's numbers in a dome, I think this is a get-right game as a whole, really, for the Buffalo Bills. And to talk about, to touch on last week and how to, come back from that, what took place within their offense, I think he does realize less is more, that using the weapons around you, even if they're in the flat, not always trying to make the big play, not always trying to press and make something out of nothing. Just take what the defense gives you. I think that's what he did so well 2021 and in 2020, these last 2 seasons. And I think that's what he was doing really well. I mean, this was a runaway MVP player through the first 6-7 weeks of the season. They're 6-1, now they're 6-3. And the reason for that is I do think, among other things, he has been pressing a lot these last few weeks. And you go back and watch, the All 22 on NFL Plus, and you'd see Josh Allen just forcing it. And I think this offense has to go back to keeping things simple and not always trying to be flashy in every single drive. I think there is substance to the fact that there's jokes out there that, hey, the Bills ruled out playing in Orchard Park, New York. I made the joke that the Bills have ruled out running the football. Like they need to have some sort of a run game at some point this year in order to go up against those upper echelon teams and keep those top offenses off the field. Time of possession is a big deal. I don't know if they do that today. I don't know if they have to, but I know that the Cleveland Browns, on the flip side of things, are going to try to wear the clock down and keep Josh Allen off the field. So some food for thought.
I think that's a great point, and I think that is what teams, since we've played the Green Bay Packers, have done. I think that they've tried to milk the clock. They've tried to keep Josh Allen off the field, and I think Josh is caught on to that, to where more of this hero ball is starting to come out. You know, you're trying to force balls in spots that just are, it's not happening. It's not. I mean, he's throwing 2 picks in the red zone or end zone trying to get the ball to Dawson Knox, and they were like the worst looking picks that he's thrown in his career. You know, like guys that are blatantly standing right in front of the open or not open receiver. You know, so maybe this is like some sort of explanation for where Josh's head is at, as far as like he's feeling the crunch and the pressure that, okay, these guys are going to try and keep me off the field. They found ways to keep me off the field. When I'm out here, I got to make something happen, or else we're in jeopardy of losing the game. The thing with that is, by playing ball like that, you're actually hurting your team and putting them in worse situations instead of just taking the points.
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost like he's thinking like he's in quicksand before he's in quicksand.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's a part of the game I don't think a lot of people think about. And I honestly, I'll be one of those guys. Yeah, you're on the field all the time, putting up points, ripping up points, 7 for 7 last year in the playoffs. You start off hot the way you did against the first 2 teams in the Titans and the Rams. And now you're being held to just 5 possessions, 6, maybe 7, instead of the plethora that you were provided. Maybe a little bit of panic goes into that. It's like, I should be scoring. We should be scoring more points.
Yeah.
We should be scoring more points. Let me force it. Yeah. Rob Mullen brought it up perfectly. He was playing with what the defense gave him, and now it seems like he's trying to give the defense something and score all the time. You can score on a majority of your drives. They're just not going to be 10 and 11 of them. If you score on 4 or 5 of those, Josh, you win those games. Those red zone turnovers have to stop, and those dumb interceptions, those mistakes have to stop. And I'm saying they're dumb. I hate to call anybody dumb, but you watch the film, both angles and all that stuff. I just don't know where his head is with those. And it's almost like he's foolishly forcing something he shouldn't have to.
And I think he recognizes that on the offensive side. And I think on the defensive side, you know, we were talking about Cam Lewis and guys, you know, Christian Benford and all the guys that have stepped up big time in the absence of Elam these last few weeks and White the last few weeks. Whether it's good results with inexperience or bad results with inexperience, these guys needed this experience. I think that there's a lot to take away from these last 2 weeks. Granted, they lost, and we didn't want them to lose a game, you know, but we were going to lose some games this year. We just didn't think they'd lose to the Jets. We didn't think the Vikings would be 8-1 and they lose to the 7-1, 8-1, lose to the Vikings, but they did. And I think that these results have actually put them at a really clear headspace heading into this one to get things right moving forward. As Scott mentioned from the top, you got 2 games in 5 days. There's no time better than now than to get it done. The time is, you don't have time. Time is working against you. You got to get it right. Today's the day to get it started.
Especially since you've fallen a couple games, half games in the AFC East. You need to start righting that ship, because Miami's going to keep winning. I hate to say that, but they look like a team that should beat the bad teams, and you know what I'm talking about. So you need to win those games. The Jets may falter off a little bit because it's Jets, but you want to win that AFC East. You want to win the AFC East, and you need to start getting it right now.
I think one of the things that we really need to pay attention to is how this team adjusts. This is going to be a huge game as far as dictating how the rest of the season goes, I think. The Bills came out being the team that everybody thought they were going to be. All the hype, all the analytics, all the reporters, everything that came out saying these are the Super Bowl favorites. These guys are a juggernaut. They beat the Rams. Boom. They beat, the Titans. Boom. They go on this like killing spree. And then the Dolphins happen. Well, it's a fluke, right? And then the Jets happen, and I don't know about that. And then the Vikings, and now it's like, okay, what are you going to do to change your trajectory? Because it seems like the Jets right now are peaking. They're figuring out their game. I don't know if they have the talent and the experience to push it any further than where they are right now, but they definitely can win games. To your point, Scott, Miami, Tua's found the recipe. You get two of the best, fastest receivers in the league and just huck it as far as you can and, make yourself look like a hero. It's winning games. They're winning games.
Mm-hmm.
What I want is for that to be both of those teams' peaks for this season, and I want the Bills to have already hit that spot, reevaluated, and went past it. Like, we still haven't seen this team full health, full steam. I don't think that Dorsey has even cracked a quarter into what this offense can do. And I really do think, to your guys' points earlier, it's the run. You got to stop abandoning the run in the second half. Every single running back that was active last week played a significant role in the first half of that game. They were all productive. I mean, I just could not believe in the second half, especially with Josh having the struggles that he was starting to have, that you didn't lean on that a little bit more. And more creatively than dumping it to Singletary up the gut and trying to get cute like that. Like, you got Hines, you got Cook, you got every single one of these dudes. Duke Johnson was having a great game. I'm the first guy to say I want to see the bombs. I want to see these spectacular catches. We sat through almost 2 decades of Buffalo Bills football trying to run, and I'm sick of it. I want the fireworks. Now I'm telling you, I want a great balance. That word that we hate in Buffalo. I want a great balance of wow plays with Allen's arm, and I want these running backs to get the yards that they've proven that they can get. That's it. And
I think too, a lot of Bills fans right now are thinking, well, this team isn't as good as what we thought. At least some. I read comments and people are saying we're 6-3. We lost 2 games. Technically all 3 of the games that they've lost this year, they shouldn't have lost. But I can't think of one Super Bowl champion that didn't go through their season with a little bit of adversity. And I'm going to offer this to you guys. Last year, the LA Rams, they had to play a wild card game. They had to win a wild card game to go to the divisional round, win that game, go to the championship, go to the Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Bucks were 7-5 prior to turning it around and winning what was 8 straight en route to a Super Bowl victory. So those are the last 2 Super Bowl champs. And the Bills are at that point in the season where they are hitting their adversity, where the other teams that are in the division that are ahead of them, the Dolphins and the Jets, they haven't hit their adversity yet. Mm-hmm. And to me, if this is the worst of the adversity that the Buffalo Bills could potentially face all season long, I like their chances because, as Swank mentioned, they're not as healthy as they need to be. They haven't been healthy all season long. Miami hasn't played a game in November, December in the elements that New England and the Meadowlands and Orchard Park provide. And we know the Jets are finding their identity. They're a young team. But with being a young team, they're bound to make some mistakes as the weeks wear on. So I still think this is Buffalo's division to win. And I think that this season is still ours to take. I still hold the belief that nobody can beat the Buffalo Bills but the Buffalo Bills. And I've seen that. I mean, we've seen that even in their losses. So credit to the teams that have beaten us so far, not taking anything away from them. But that was then. I'm looking forward. We still got a lot of football left and a lot of football to prove that we're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the National Football League. So let's go.
Here, man.
We have 8 games. We have 8 games remaining. We have 8 games remaining. That's a lot of football left. And like Rob Mullen just said, and I was going to bring up later in one of my in my final thought, we have to finish the games. Each one of our losses, we've gone into halftime with a lead, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the team that we played had to make the adjustments, came out firing on all cylinders, and have taken over the football game. You just have to play a complete game. Management, like Swank said, and you just have to play your football. Don't panic. And do the things you got to do to keep that lead and finish the game off. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. I mean, well put. I mean, it's us. That's all it is. Beating ourselves. That's really legitimately all it is. So with that being said, 1:00 kickoff. We're bringing you all the way up to an hour before kickoff. for Sunday sessions here, and it's 11:54. We're gonna hit you with some score predictions, some bold predictions, and a little final thought action, and let you get ready for that game. Cracking some beers, making some foods, doing your thing. So, Mr. Ryan Thomas of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, could you hit me with your score prediction and a bold prediction for this afternoon's game?
I think this is the get-right game for the Buffalo Bills. I do see the Bills winning this one in convincing fashion. I'm going to go 31-17. I think the Browns' rushing offense will do what they do. No team has been able to really bottle up Nick Chubb. So he'll have some stats on the stat sheet, but I still think Buffalo's going to be able to get it done. I feel like this is the perfect, kickback, get it right game for the Buffalo Bills. You have to take every opponent seriously, and I think they will. I think Ken Dorsey is going to simplify this offense this week, and I think Josh Allen is going to learn to take what the defense gives him. My bold prediction for today is that within that statement that I just made, we finally see a solid, balanced offense. I'm not going to put like a stat on it. I'm just going to say that Josh Allen has a good stat day. Devin Singletary actually has above, we'll just say 70 yards. So in that regard, a very balanced offense, balanced in Buffalo, moving forward into Thanksgiving against Detroit, in Detroit, back-to-back games in Detroit. How about them apples? So Bills getting that W.
There you go. I like it. I like it.
I love it. Real quick, we got our boy Rob Snyder.
What's up, Robbie?
Yeah, what's up, Robbie?
What's up, Rob?
He's saying Bills 34, Browns 24, and he said, yeah, I said it, so.
Yeah, I said it. What you need to do is get back to...
Ooh, the stamp of approval from our boy Robbie. I love it.
There he goes. I got Buffalo Kickoff Live on here. Clean stat sheet for Josh Allen, and the other one was red zone efficiency. I agree with both those things. That's not my bold prediction though, or any of that stuff. I got a 35-17 score, Swank. It was going to be 6-3, but we're not playing in Buffalo. So 35-17.
I hate that joke. I was at that game. I hate that joke.
The game was awful. Oh,
I know there's a lot of mafia out there saying, they took the Bills out of Buffalo where the elements are going to be a part of the game and yada, yada, yada. And I agree with all that more times than not. But
you would have had to put one of those wheelchair flags on top of motor to be able to see where the hell he was going to be. There's 6 feet of snow. There's no way. There's just no way. It's over that. And it's like 77 inches in some places. I just saw. Crazy.
But I'm looking at this game as a blessing in disguise, Swank. The snow and the weather is a great equalizer, and I think it would have been advantage Cleveland Browns, no doubt in my mind, with their running attack. I think this is a game that is a blessing in disguise. We could see Josh Allen in no elements, airing the ball out, getting everything corrected, and the Bills having an even playing field when it comes to playing the Cleveland Browns this week and making the best out of it. 35-17 is my score. I think Allen does get it right, and I think you're not going to keep Chubb or Hunt out of the end zone. So it's going to be a good game. Not as close as I thought it would be if it was a snow game, but Bills coming out on top for sure.
I like it. I like it. We got Lonnie Cook saying 27-10 Bills. Cody saying 28-17. Doug saying it sucked, which I'm assuming means about that 6-3 game. Yes, it did.
Genzillo's no, Cody, yeah.
The missing triplet, Jared Reed says, love the standing Buffalo hats all three of you are wearing.
I noticed that too.
I didn't notice that until right now, but yeah, this is a new guy for me. And then I saw there was a sale going on at the NFL shop. Told my boy Scooter Magooter about it. He got himself the white one. It's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, for military week.
That's a classic RT Bills hat, I believe, man. I think you've worn that several times here.
I've worn. Yeah, this is one of my top 3 favorite hats. I would love it if somehow, the NHL's got like 6 or 7 jerseys for the Sabres. It's crazy. I would love it if the NFL just went crazy and the Bills wore red helmets with a white standing buffalo like they did in like the early 90s.
That'd be dope.
That would be pretty sick. That's why I really like this hat. It's just different, something different.
There you go. I didn't give my bold prediction. What the hell?
Well, go ahead.
I didn't either, actually.
Well, all right. Well, let me do my score. We'll go back around the horn.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought of a good one, and I'm loving on this one.
Oh. I love that. I love when you get all excited. I got a good one. Mario, we'll hit your question up here in a second, too. So my score prediction is 27-17. Mr. Ryan Thomas had a nice little post on Facebook that I put that on earlier, so I had to write it down so I would remember for the show, so I wasn't back talking on myself. Yeah, man, same deal. I think it's going to be a balanced game. I think Josh Allen gets right. I think he takes what is given to him. I think it's not going to be super flashy, but it's going to be one of those things where everybody just, I'll start with bold predictions right here. My bold prediction is that Leslie Frazier and the Bills defense sell out to the run. They leave their young corners on these wide receivers, and they sell out, and they apply pressure, and they do something that they really haven't done all season long, which is not just get pressure with the front four, but send pressure in blitz packages. I think that is super important, especially if you have these young guys that are struggling to cover. Why not? Why not send a guy? Get some pressure. Brissett isn't. He's an average NFL quarterback, an average NFL backup at this point. Rattle his cage, man. We say it all the time. Rattle his cage. So if those dudes can't cover, send them in the backfield. I'm all about it. I don't care if they break off a couple home run balls, a couple 20, 30-yarders, whatever, late, fine. Get in that guy's face.
There's a Madden call for that. It's called Engage 8. Engage 8. That's an all-out blitz.
Used to be the suicide blitz back in the day. Yeah.
Yep. Love it. So that was going to be my defensive bold, but I went offensive instead.
Wait, so Ryan, is this the one that you thought of or the one that you thought of before the one you thought of?
The one I thought of before the one I thought of yesterday before the second one I just thought of. All right. Ryan, what's your bold, brother?
My bold is that I think with balance, offensively, rushing the football, passing the football, and Josh Allen mainly taking what the defense gives him, I think you're going to see as many as 7 different receivers catch a pass in this game. I think you're going to see Josh Allen spread it between Diggs, Knox, Davis, Shakir. Whoever is out there is going to get their work. This offense is going to be the stat sheet is going to be loaded. You're going to have to drag it down to see the amount of receivers that he's going to be targeting and or will be receiving the passes from one Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
I had a gut feeling you had to go before me. I really did. I had a gut feeling that Ryan should go before me because of my bold prediction. Josh Allen has an ex-teammate in Wyoming playing today. This is the first time I think Tanner Gentry has seen the field for Buffalo Bills. He's coming up. My bold prediction is Tanner Gentry catches a touchdown pass from Josh Allen. One of many for Josh Allen today. But I saw that stat line. Him and Xavier Rhodes were brought up from the practice squad, and they made the trip. So I would love – how Josh likes to bring out the best out of the people taking over for positions. Isaiah McKenzie's been one of those guys in the past. Tanner Gentry. Let's do it. Touchdown.
Like it.
Hey, man.
I think he's going to get you a lot of points if you do FanDuel and the Caesars, DraftKings.
Tanner Gentry's going to get you a lot of points today.
I'm telling you, if you pick him
I'll
to
bet
get
the under on that.
Anytime touchdown is what I'm saying.
Oh, anytime touchdown.
Anytime TD, that would get you. If it happens for sure. I mean, the only time that any one of us would say go Cowboys is if we're referring to the Wyoming Cowboys.
Well, yeah,
they provided us with, our savior.
I would argue that the Wyoming Cowboys are America's team.
Well, the quarterback that they produced is wearing the red, white, and blue now.
Hey,
so
I gotta say,
hey.
Mario, I told you we'd come back to your question. He says, does anyone have any answer as to why A.J. Klein is not playing? Matt needs some experienced help alongside of him. Bills 32, Browns 17. I unlike these two, and these two have a lot more personal knowledge playing the game than I do. But as far as I was concerned, I thought he'd be a plug-and-play guy that they could put in as a run stopper and kind of go right off. I thought that's why they signed him. But do either of you guys have a reason as to why they wouldn't do that with AJ?
The only thing that I can assume is, obviously in Buffalo, he was playing linebacker. He was a backup to Tremaine Edmonds, and he played a little bit all over the place on the field in terms of linebacker unit. But based on his past few stops, it seems like he's mainly been used as like a special teams guy. I haven't really seen him out on the field as much as he was in Buffalo. And I'm not saying that as a slight on AJ Klein. You know, any player that can play in the NFL, special teams, defense, offense, has talent. So I was actually really happy to see that they got him back. And,
Me too.
You know, to Scott's point earlier, you know, Tremaine Edmonds might be out a little bit longer than what we thought. Perfect. Get this guy back. They get him back, and, you know, maybe we'll see him next week, hopefully.
See, my thought process behind it is I don't think the Bills are really trusting their backups as far as Braylon Spector go and Tyrell Dodson, because Klein was a backup for Milano last year, not Tremaine Edmonds. And so I think that's more of that. And with Terrell Bernard being the backup from Edmonds, it may be just some sort of security blanket for sure. But Medikovic is also an inside linebacker. So that's when I thought that happened. I thought maybe Milano was a little more injured than they alluded to. That because that's where he backed it up. So I think they're maybe trying to get him more into the inside linebacker position and studying that position a little more. So being in it within 4 days is going to be pushing a lot on him. So that's why it's kind of up in the air why he's not playing.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
And there it is.
It's nice to have a guy that is a vet that has the versatility that he does, you know, to kind of move in and out of the lineup. You know, that's a great backup to have.
And also familiar with the system.
Outside linebacker call. Yep. Sorry, Swank. Outside linebacker calls and inside linebacker calls, whether it's just the two linebackers being the Will and the Sam and the Strong, it's still different calls. So it's still a process you have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to notice that linebacker crew is better with Milano and another linebacker rather than Tremaine Edmonds without Milano.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cody.
Sad but true.
Yes. Cody asked if White is playing today. He is not playing today. He is inactive yet again. And that, I think, makes 3 weeks, so they're going to have to activate him soon, right? Or was that just they just had to put him on the roster, right?
Put him on the roster.
Put him on the 53. Yep.
Okay, never mind.
But
that
the
to me,
Thanksgiving Day is coming up. That Thanksgiving game is coming up. That may be a reunion kind of game.
That'd be cool.
That to me is more concerning than anything. And call me crazy, but like I thought he'd be back by now.
Me
and
too.
The fact that he's not, I know they don't want to rush it, and I know that they want to give the young guys experience, but that to me, it just, I don't know. I feel a little bit, I feel a little bit weird about that. I'm hoping that he's, you know, okay.
I think they would have put him on IR, back on IR again if he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, they wouldn't have wasted the roster spot. I think he's close. I think everything there's, unless I guess maybe he had a setback, but he wouldn't be practicing, right? And you haven't seen any of that, so I don't know.
Well, is it not even so much the injury? Is it like, is he in the right shape? Is he, you know, things like that, because he was out for so long, he wasn't in the football practices as like he was, like you just mentioned. But to me, like they need him out there. I'm hoping that Thanksgiving's the day. That would be a good Thanksgiving Day, early Christmas present for all of us.
I think like the only thing that would be a concern, because they say he's actually like more jacked than he's ever been. Like all he did was lift weights. So condition wise, as far as like wind sprints and what kind of lungs he's got on the field, that might be something that they're getting ready for. But I would say like strength wise, as far as what he said and what I've heard like training staff say, he's like in better shape than he's ever been. Cut out of stone kind of thing. So, or
there's this thought, let's get into a dome where the elements aren't part of the game. You're not going to slip on rain. You're not going to slip on snow. And with Buffalo playing in the snow this week, they would have been prepared to bring him back. But now that they're playing in Detroit, maybe next week for the Thanksgiving game, you will be put in that situation where you won't have any of those elements jacking up his knee. See how sore he feels after that game and determine the process of how he's playing the next couple weeks after that.
I'll say this, Doug brought up a great point, and this has been a theme through the season. Detroit's turf is horrible. Players
pretty bad.
Yeah, they complain about it constantly. And he says the turf in Detroit is the same as the Saints where he got hurt. I know, there's been just like multiple players saying like how horrible Detroit's turf is. So to me, it's like, okay, do you risk them there? I thought originally like 2 weeks, same turf, dome, you know, the Clevelands aren't soft, but they're not the best team in the league. And then you got the Lions afterwards, put him on St. Brown and let him have a day. Like, man, it would be great. But now if you look at it turf-wise too, because that hit my mind where it's like, well, if it's a shitty field Like, do you want him to twist, turn, pull, do something stupid just trying to get him out there? I don't know.
The way I look at it, and the way I've actually thought of it myself, when I do feel like, oh man, I wish he was out there, I'm worried that he's not yet, I think to myself, well, they lost 2 divisional games. They want him back out there for those games.
Yeah.
Those are the games that they gotta get right. Those are the games that they really need to have all hands on deck and to get those wins.
Mm-hmm. Rob Mullen, to be honest, it feels as that they don't want to play Trey until they truly need to, as the secondary is getting by. I've already been tested to know where we are. It's true. I mean, I don't think the secondary is the glaring
I don't think
problem.
the secondary's hurting really. It's just that guy is so damn good, man. I hope he's back to where he was before. I'd love to see it.
Yep. All right, kids, we went over a little bit. We'll hit a quick final thought around there. Ryan, please let us know your final little thought about this game. Tell the people where they can find you, and we'll get to this kickoff.
Final thoughts, whether the Bills are playing in Detroit or Orchard Park, I'm happy for Bills football Sunday. 1 o'clock, the way football is meant to be watched. Tuning in, 1 o'clock, Bills, Browns, the Battle of Lake Erie takes place in Detroit. Hey, I'm happy we're getting a game. Josh Allen, I think he's going to get it right today. You guys can find me on Twitter at Ryan Thomas Take. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook as well, the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Scotty.
Hey, man, we love you, Ryan, for being on the show every Sunday. Appreciate you, and your show is taking off, and we love it. And, yeah, hit him up.
Thank you, buddy.
Hit him up on all those platforms for sure. I want to send out a special thank you to our supporters at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium with hitting up and subscribing to our YouTube page. We've made leaps and bounds in the last couple weeks, and it's all because of you guys. Big game. It's a get-right game. We've been calling it that all show. It's time for Josh Allen to air it out, but play responsibly, manage the game, Ken Dorsey and Leslie Frazier, like Swank is saying, and let's just get it right and get on we've been given an opportunity to play in a neutral field where there's no weather, any of that stuff going on. So I'm a fan of that. Wasn't at first, but I am now. Remember to join us every Tuesday on the K-Gun Report. We go live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. We didn't get to it today, but we will be spinning the Pandemonium Wheel of Destiny on Tuesday to see who wins this Josh Allen jersey. You guys left comments 3 weeks ago. You are still entered. And for those that join the show and leave a comment, you'll be entered to win that one right there. That salute to service.
Love that. I
Josh
love that.
Allen. We're going to have special guests. Bills Jason, Buffalo Spartan, and Bills Vader are going to be on. We're going to talk Buffalo Bills football, and we're going to talk a little bit about the salute to service. Again, guys, it's that month, but we think about you all the time, 12 months out of the year. Wouldn't be here doing this without all the sacrifices. So salute to service. Love you guys. Thank you for all you've done. Hey, guys, chill out. Watch that Bills game. Let's go 7-3. That'd be a nice record to have. Go Bills.
7-3 sounds glorious. I'm damn near guaranteeing it. You know what? We went the whole show without me really just destroying the Browns. Like, I was planning on coming in here.
Very proud of you, by the way.
Thanks. But you're not going to be proud of me at this point because I'm going to say, fuck this team. They're the worst franchise in football. I hate their guts. They all deserve to get crushed. They should all walk off the field and never play for this shitty organization ever again. We're going to mop them. Mop them by 10, and I love it.
We're in overtime, Swank.
Mop them by 10.
Well, just so my score prediction comes out right.
Well, mop them by like 50. The amount of accusations that they've had against each one of their players.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
the fact that their original owner moved the team to Baltimore and they went the few years without their team. They get their team back, and Tim Couch. Mic drop. That's my dad sits on the throne that Tim Couch could have turned out if he was drafted by somebody else, and I'm like, that you could say that about anybody.
You can say that about any quarterback the Browns have drafted in the last 15 years.
Exactly.
Could have been somebody.
Eric Moulds would be in the Hall of Fame if he had a decent quarterback. I'll say it.
Hey, Bill Belichick, if he All right, that's my 2 cents. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us. Every week we're doing a pregame. We're going to have to figure out this Thanksgiving Day thing. I might be able to do it.
Maybe not.
Maybe. We'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know. Please don't forget, subscribe, like, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. We're everywhere. We've been doing a lot of stuff trying to push out some sweet content for you guys. Thanks so much for you guys coming and hanging out and commenting and participating. Don't forget, K-Gun, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shit, man. Have a couple beers. Have a good time. Go Bills.
Hit up that live stream. We got a game day thread going on at 12:30. Hit us up. Go Bills!
Go Bills!
Go Bills!
This is a dangerous